Welcome to Femora. Don't forget to subscribe for more shocking family drama and jaw-dropping stories. They refused to save me when I needed $40,000, then came crawling back for their own surgery. The words urgent surgery sounded like a door slamming. I lay on a thin mattress, staring at the fluorescent light that buzzed like an angry bee over my face. The doctor said, "It will cost around $40,000. We need to move fast." I looked at my mother. "Mom?" Amira sighed, the way people sigh when they already know the ending. "We can't help you. It's too much." My father Yusuf wouldn't meet my eyes. He tugged at his sleeve like the thread there was more interesting than my body breaking. "We're not in a position," he said. Layla, my sister, stood by the window and checked her phone. "Better to let nature decide," she muttered, as if the storm outside called the shots. "Nature?" I said. "I'm 21. Silence. I felt small in the bed, like a folded paper someone might throw away. "Please," I whispered. "I'll pay you back. I'll work. Mom's face hardened. "We aren't a bank." She turned toward the door. "Let's go." I watched their backs as they left. Mom's quick steps, Dad's slow drag, Layla's careless sway. The door clicked. The sound was so clean it hurt. My best friend Hassan sat down where my mother had been. He took my hand. "I'm here. I don't have $40,000, I said. "I don't even have 40. "We'll find it," he said. "We'll ask. We'll sell things. We'll beg strangers. You will not die because they chose money over you." We posted a fundraiser that night from my phone. A handful of classmates donated. A teacher I barely knew sent a large amount and wrote, "You showed up for everyone in school. Let us show up for you." A restaurant manager promised a job when I recovered. Hassan collected small bills in a shoebox, counted and recounted until his fingers turned black with ink. I signed the consent. I remember the cold taste of fear as they wheeled me away. I remember Hassan's face above mine, blurred by tears that wouldn't fall. "We'll pay them later," I whispered. "Or never." When I woke, pain burned like a low fire, but I was alive. A nurse named Fatima smiled with tired eyes and wiped my forehead. "You're stubborn," she said. "Good." The discharge papers listed numbers that could crush a mountain. I folded the unpaid bills they had refused to sign and slid them into my wallet. "Scar paper, proof. Promise me something," I told Hassan. "Anything. If they abandoned me once, I'll never hand them the chance again." He squeezed my hand. "Done." Recovery felt like learning to breathe with stones on my chest. Hassan slept on my floor, set alarms for meds, and cooked noodles until I hated noodles and loved him. I took the restaurant job when I could stand for more than an hour. Nights smelled like soap and garlic and sweat. After my shift, I coded from midnight to morning, clumsy at first, then less clumsy, then hungry. I kept thinking about those bills and the way my chest had felt. Tight, helpless, priced. What if there was a way to stop that kind of helplessness? I started sketching screens on napkins, a simple app to bundle medical bills, connect to small donors, offer microloans with fair terms, and track every cent. I called it MedEase because the name made me breathe easier. No one cared at first. Then a free clinic tried our tool for triage costs and prescriptions. "It works," the director said, surprised. Then 3 clinics used it. Then a community hospital tried the microloan feature. Our dashboard lit up with tiny candles of hope. I slept less. I smiled more. At a conference I couldn't afford, I met Dr. Sarah Malik, who wore wide glasses and spoke like a scalpel. Clean, precise, kind. "You're solving the shame problem," she said. "Not just the money. That's why people will use it." She invested, then joined as a partner. With her guidance, we built rules that protected patients from predators and protected donors from lies. By 27, MedEase was in 5 countries. By 30, we were valued at something numbers can't carry. People called me a survivor with vision. I just didn't want anyone to feel the way I had felt. Priced and left. Sometimes late at night, I opened my wallet and touched the edge of those old bills. Still creased, still mean. I thought of the door closing and the way I had promised myself never again. The rain that evening sounded like fingers tapping the window. My phone lit up with an unknown number. I nearly ignored it. I didn't. Hello? A voice I knew and didn't know. It's your mother. Her words came in breaks. Layla, heart surgery. 60,000. We don't have it. In the background, a monitor beeped. Steady, indifferent. For a second, my chest forgot how to act. Why call me? I asked. Because you're successful now, she said, and the word successful sounded like a piece of grit she wanted out of her mouth. Because your family, Emily. The word felt heavy as wet wool. I could have said so many things. I could have read their lines back to them. We can't help you. It's too much. Better to let nature decide. The phrases buzzed inside my head, hungry. Instead, I said, I'll think about it. I sat at the edge of my bed with the phone in my hand until my fingers ached. Hassan arrived like he always did when I didn't ask. He saw my face and didn't need the story. Say no, he said. You owe them nothing. Sarah came after her shift and stood by the window, rain reflected in her lenses. This is your choice, she said. Not theirs. Justice doesn't have to be cruelty. What is justice then? I asked. Sometimes it's the line you draw inside, she said. Sometimes it's a check with conditions. Sometimes it's silence. I took my wallet out and unfolded the old hospital bills. 3 signatures at the bottom, refused to assist. I traced each looped letter until my fingers warmed with a grief I thought I had packed away. I don't want to be them, I said. Then don't be, Sarah said. I called my mother back. Tomorrow morning, I said. I'll come. Hospitals always smell like lemon and fear. Layla lay small in a big bed, tubes curling from her like pale snakes. For the first time in my life, I saw my sister without armor. Her lips were dry. Her eyes were proud, and then not. My father stood at the foot of the bed like a shadow of himself. My mother clutched a file against her chest as if papers could keep a heart beating. They stared when I entered. You came, Mom said as if it were a trick. I did. Dad cleared his throat. We're sorry, he said. We made mistakes. I took the file from Mom's arms and opened it. Bills, estimates, red lines, numbers that could knock down a house. I pulled my wallet and slid the old papers onto the table. Do you remember these? I asked. You chose money over me. Mom's mouth trembled. We were scared. I was dying, I said. Layla tried to speak. The sound broke. She grabbed my wrist with bird bones and whispered. I was cruel. I said things I didn't understand. Don't let me die. I looked at her hand on mine, at the spot where my scar tugged when I breathed too fast. I looked at my parents, their faces drawn, their fear real. Rage rose, then folded like a wave that had traveled too far to break. Hassan stood in the doorway, rain on his hoodie. His eyes asked me to refuse. Sarah's voice lived somewhere behind my ribs. Justice doesn't always mean cruelty. I'll cover the surgery, I said. Mom sagged into a chair. Dad said, thank God, like a habit. I lifted a finger. But hear me. I'm not paying as your son. I'm paying as the man you left to die who lived anyway. There are conditions, Mom nodded fast. Anything. You will never ask me for money again, I said. You will never call me only when you need me. And when she wakes up, you will tell her exactly what you did to me. You will say it with your mouths, not with your silence. Dad stared at the floor. We will. Layla squeezed my hand like a child. Thank you, she whispered. I pulled free. Heal, I said. Then live better. I walked out before they could say more. In the hallway, I leaned my head against the cool glass of a vending machine and inhaled until the first tremor passed. Hassan put a hot chocolate in my hand. You didn't give them your forgiveness, he said. I gave a woman a chance to breathe, I said. That's all. Layla survived the surgery. The doctor said the word successful in a tone that made me like the word again. My parents called for weeks. I let the calls pass like weather. Sometimes I listened to voicemails that sounded like old furniture dragged across a floor. Apologies, requests to meet, promises to change. Instead, I poured myself into MedEase Relief, the charity arm we'd dreamed about in a small notebook. We funded pediatric surgeries in cities with names I couldn't pronounce perfectly. We covered chemo for a woman whose brother told her to trust nature. We paid for an old man's hearing aids so he could understand his grandson's jokes. At a team meeting, Sarah leaned over the table and said, "Your story is our policy. No predatory interest. Transparent fees. Dignity first." Hassan clapped like a child. He always clapped like that, full-hearted, no matter how tired he was. "We're building the thing we needed," he said. Finally. One afternoon, Layla texted, "I'm sorry." I know sorry isn't enough, but I am. I stared at the screen and typed 3 words I meant: heal, live well. Months passed. I stood one evening on the balcony of our office, watching the city turn its lights on like quiet stars. In my wallet, the old bills sat, wrinkled, signed, unpaid. They didn't burn anymore. They didn't freeze me either. They just were. Proof of what I had survived and what I had built so no one else had to beg the way I did. Hassan joined me with paper cups of tea. "Do you regret helping them?" he asked. I took a sip. The tea was sweet and a little bitter. "I didn't help them," I said. "I helped a patient. That's different." "That's why people trust you," Sarah said from the doorway. "You lived what they fear most, and you didn't let it turn you cruel." I smiled at them. The 2 people who stayed when staying was heavy. "You saved me before MedEase did," I said. "Both of you." "Shut up and drink," Hassan said, choking on his own feelings the way he always did. We watched an ambulance move like a stubborn star down the avenue. Somewhere inside, a stranger fought for breath. Somewhere a family would do the right thing or not. I couldn't control that. I could only keep the doors open for those left on the wrong side of them. I took the bills from my wallet and looked at the jagged signatures one last time. Then I slid them back, not as chains, but as a map. Every turn I took led away from that closed door toward this balcony, these lights, this work. I was their abandoned son, I said to the city. Now I am the reason strangers live. The wind lifted. The paper cups knocked gently against the railing. Below us, hospital windows glowed, square and stubborn. Justice didn't roar tonight. It breathed, steady, patient, alive. If you were in my place, what would you have done? Comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more family drama stories. See you in the next video.